Very serious. Very. I've got my mic. That works. So just to let you know, hopefully you can all hear me. I'm probably louder shouting, but we thought the mic would work. It's a good effect. Well, firstly, thanks everybody for coming. We're recording on Zoom here, so please do not swear. As Connie just came up. But anyway, so firstly, thanks for coming. And I know it's a Tuesday night, which is, we're lucky to get you out on a Tuesday night, so it's good, and I'm grateful to everybody. So thanks for coming. And for those who came to our first event, I can see a few faces here. This is probably a little bit different. I don't know if it feels more professional or academic. I'm not too sure, but it was, you know, we had our first event, our first experience, and, you know, we've grown, and all of you know Fida, we call it Fida, whichever country you're in. But, you know, it's something that we're sort of challenging and pushing and trying to create a voice. So we've got, don't you anything. So I've got a slide person over there because we're multitasking here. So we're going to be quite old school as well, which is, I will say, next slide, please. Even though it's digital. So we've got it all happening here, because we're trying to link these up somehow. So first of all, good evening all for coming. It's a great pleasure and welcome to you all. The ever-growing Fida family is our second award ceremony live. So we're glad to have you. And thanks to Conde and Nast for hosting the event. We're super grateful. And thank you to Harriet for having us. Harriet's been a great supporter and ambassador to us. So thank you, Harriet. So I guess it's been a long time since we've all been together. I've seen some of you, most of you virtually. So it's been a virtual experience. We're here now, we're back together, and it's a good time. And I nearly was going to wear the shoes I wore last time, but I saw Jessica there, so I haven't. So that was my other side of me coming out, thinking about my shoes. So a big hello to everybody, and thank you for coming to this event. And it's a global event with all of our sort of Zoom people here, so thank you. And no one, I wish we were trying to get them on the screen so you could see all their lovely faces. Someone's got Christmas trees in the background and an angel, and they're drinking lots of champagne. So I can see what's happening here live in front of me. At Fida, it's our mission to promote the very best of fashion illustration and the fashion arts. And we continually strive to showcase the emerging illustration and the field of illustration and the field of fashion arts. This year, we've seen our membership grow stronger, partnerships with Holston, whether it's partnerships with Holston Netflix or the old Holston, we're still learning about this, the National Arts Club, Instituto Marangoni, FIT, Rodo, Tiffany, and Nando and Elsa Peretti Foundation, which we're currently doing. The members, if it wasn't for our members, I don't know where we would be, but it's been a sort of a blossoming and growing and changing, and the landscape changes and the memberships change. But we've had many people that have followed the sort of journey from the beginning, which has been brilliant. We've had membership talks, so they've been an interesting experience. Our first talks on Zoom, which was it crashed because we didn't pay for our subscription. So that was a mega learning experience, because we did live drawing on Zoom and everyone kept crashing and we didn't know why. But we got over that hurdle, thank God. So this year's, we also had a resident artist, which we had on Sophie Speyer, which was great. And I guess when I spoke to Sophie, it was really about she was worried about her style. Was it correct? Was it incorrect? Where for me, it doesn't matter. It's something different. and the request of a lot of the judges and ambassadors is they really want mold breakers, not people that fit within fashion illustration within a niche group. So Sophie has done a great job of illustrating, printmaking, process building, and bringing a new side to fashion illustration, which has been great for us. Conde's been a superstar as well. On the other side of it, very professional, really organized, unlike myself, but has really helped. And we decided to create Conde's Crits, and Conde's Crits have been sort of a fantastic space. We really saw a space for the critical conversation around fashion illustration wasn't happening, and we really wanted to bring this to the forefront. So hopefully the crits will grow and bring in academics in, and as we said, we wanted performers, and we wanted not your normal sort of process of people that would look at art and fashion illustration. We really wanted people that were breaking down them spaces so they could be critical. We do feel everyone has been really nice in the crits, so we maybe want to step up the evilness, but that, I guess that will change over time. Me and Conde are constantly talking about how do we make everyone a bit more harsh, but we're not here to take people apart. It's really to build, but give this sort of honest feedback so you can learn from it. We've also done 2 books. We published 2 books, which has been a fantastic achievement. To publish a book, I don't know if anyone has done a book, is hell. And to have a certain standard of printing and finishing and these levels that we know fashion illustrators deserve for their work. And I wouldn't be happy to put out cheaper papers. We argue about paper. Half my life is arguing about paper, what paper's good enough to print on. So it's an interesting experience making a book and getting everyone to send the files at the right resolutions. That is a job in itself, but it happens, and we get great ambassadors. David Downton, we had Howard Tangy. You know, the list is growing. Howard Tangy took 3 years to agree to even talk to me, but I got there. Persistence, as you may know, I'm persistent, and I'll slowly work with you and try and get you in if I think you're the right person. And I know it only sort of raises the bar for our level of work. So we've also seen with the landscape of fashion illustration about e-commerce. So we were looking about this sort of marketplace. We see NFTs, we see these sorts of areas, and we want to be on the pulse of it. It may not be right, but it's the beginning, and it's trying to introduce us, our mindset, your mindset to the space. So it's something. It's the beginning of, I feel it's something that's happening from all the people that I speak to, this market space of work, and how to sell your work and get a good return on it, and understand about the e-commerce, because fashion illustrators unfortunately are undervalued, underpaid, underappreciated, and we're trying really hard to stop that or educate the fashion illustrators. I think that's quite important, even if there's some sort of return in fees. But again, that's a learning curve for all of us. So moving on, we're nearly getting to the big moment of the awards. So I've got my lovely assistant over there, Conde Nast student. So she's my helper. So when we say move one forward, we can move one forward. Does it work? Good. So we're moving forward, and we're moving forward on here as well. So good. It's all semi-working. So welcome everybody. So the first award was the Portrait Award. I did see fashion illustrators, everyone that gave me feedback, everybody loves to draw portraits. And I always went to the British Portrait Awards. I don't know if anyone went to that. And I really want to sort of crack into that space. So the Portrait Award for me is a space where I feel fashion illustrators have sort of mastered it, and they are sort of leaders in that space for capturing culture, people, mood, essence, And I really know this is a space that we will move forward, and you'll see the amazing array of image makers and art that we've created. So I just wanted to go through a few slides. So if you go to the next slide, you know, here's just some little things that we've been doing and a bit of members' feedback. And there's lovely Connie posing next to her picture. This was in Milan at the Manzoni building, and we got lots of tours and information, and it was the most amazing experience to go to Milan during Milan Fashion Week and just hear the stories. And that's the sort of experience we want to offer the artists and the illustrators, these opportunities. And we're trying to give money back by giving people opportunities to teach, because you have so much knowledge. Everyone has all these skills. How could we offer these skills out there and you'll be paid for it? And, you know, and we all, it is this circular economy. So next slide, please. So just a little few pictures from Sophie. Sophie's, we called it Sophie Screenshots, because Sophie, I noticed, always did screenshots. I don't know if she knew how to make a screenshot, but she was doing these screenshots and captured these really great pictures. And I love the picture of her on the press. It reminded me of when I was at Kingston, using the sort of the printing press and going through the whole process. And I wanted her to also have to write something down. You know, when I did my master's, most of the students were dyslexic. So getting us to be able to vocalize through writing and be able to challenge ourselves in them other spaces is hard. So you probably might notice Instagram messages that go from myself or whoever may have errors. That's just standard for a creative, but it gets fixed in the long run. Next slide, please. So you may see some pictures of yourself. So here's some of the people at the crits. You might hate these pictures, but these were little videos we got of people to talk at the crits. And you know, some of you are here tonight, and you know, I can see Melanie and I can see many people, and Scott, who's been great, and you know, Jackie Mallon, who's in the middle, who's really supported us from the beginning. I didn't know Jackie until she did a write-up about our first awards, and Eureka, you know, I then met her in New York. So it's sort of a new experience, a new journey, and Joanna and all these other great characters that we have involved in our awards. So next slide, please. So this is just a little bit of a picture from, we've got the Holston experience happening in Miami pretty much next week. And that's a collaboration with Tiffany. Ultra Suede, I didn't know it, Ultra Suede, some of you may know Ultra Suede, but I learned about Ultra Suede, and I learned about Holston as well. That I had to watch all the Netflix. So that was a big experience. And you know, these are the sort of things that I want to be in my life. And this is what illustrators and creatives want, is to work with the best brands and work with the best people. So that's something I'm striving towards, and educating them and getting them to understand about maybe paying. That's a task. That's a very hard task. So next slide, please. So here we have, just going to chop that up. So here we have our book. So this was our second book. I don't know who spoke to me the other day. They called it the Fibble, but I thought it was the Fibble, maybe the phonics. But it was funny to hear someone go, "Oh yeah, the Fibble," and I was like, "Who's the Fibble?" But you know, that's it was like Fida or Fida. It's phonics, I'm afraid. I didn't do enough with my kids. But you know, we had Alberto Ferretti, a great fashion designer, and you know, we built up a relationship with, I don't know if anyone knew Salvo Nicosia. I'm guessing someone here might know Salvo, but Salvo, you might know Salvo. And Salvo, you know, unfortunately died, I think, in Easter, around about Easter. And he was a great supporter of us, and he was introducing us. It's very rare to get someone to introduce you to so many people and help you, because most people don't help you. They just build a wall around you. Fashion has all these walls, but Salvo was very open, very helpful, open-armed. His brother Massimo was the creative director of Pringle, and as helpful, both helpful, and really introduced me to Alberto Ferretti. We did live drawing backstage, while COVID was right in the mix of COVID, and just trying to get everyone to be creative and work with these great brands and just get an experience. So that was a really early bird experience for us while COVID was happening. So, you know, I think a lot of people learned from that, and we were learning a lot how to just work and work fast, and that kind of amalgamates into other ideas of this sort of speed working. And then next slide, please. So then this has led to this pop-up. We're trying to do this pop-up at the moment. Fida Piazza, it sounds quite Italian. I've worked with a lot of Italians. So we want this idea of this market square, this market space. There'll be a pop-up exhibition, virtual exhibitions, giving people opportunities to share their portfolios, whether it's through Zoom, all different channels. So it's a real connector. It's a connecting space. So these are the sorts of things we see, is this localized space and giving everyone the chance to go, right, it's my 10 minutes to talk about my work and talk about my shop or my experience or my store. So this is our objective through what this is. So hopefully in time it will grow and people will understand it more, but it will be a space that I think once the metaverse might kick in a bit more, I feel we'll enjoy this space a lot more for us. So next slide, please. So moving on to the awards. I guess you're all hungry for the awards. So let me just pick up. So the Portrait Award. Lots of little gifts. So the Portrait Award goes to, next slide, Anna Tischler. I think Hannah might be on Zoom, but we can't beam you in, unfortunately, Hannah, and I can't see you. But congratulations. I'll be honest, this was a very controversial artwork because it maybe doesn't fit into the fashion illustration mode. That was some of the feedback that we got, which is why I thought it kind of worked anyway. But with, you know, it received the most votes from the judges. But the interesting feedback was that it kind of danced between art, people, culture. And I think that was the main role of it. And the process, you know, this sort of gestural drawing. We had Poppy Wadilove teach recently, and she's very gestural. She spoke all about gesture. So it really, I think this taps into that space, and really, it reminds me of a sort of National Geographic photograph, where it really captures you and you feel like, you know, it's caught you and you won't forget it. So congratulations, Hannah. Unfortunately, I can't give you it virtually. And a lot of people are obviously not here, so they're far away, but it will come in the post. If it's Brexit, it might not come before Christmas. So we also introduced last year, and we brought it up a bit, was the Student Awards. We're trying to get the students involved a bit more, and that's a sort of slow process, but it will grow, and in time. So next slide was for the Student Award was Ji Young Park. She's from ESCAD. So congratulations, Ji Young Park. I guess you're on here somewhere. Okay, so the Beauty Award. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, so the Beauty Award. This person I know. I don't know them personally, I know them virtually. But just go here. You can go to the next slide. If it works. Next one is Belen Rodriguez. So, congratulations, Belen. Well done. And we have a student award winner as well. So let's just we go to the next slide. It's Leo Kwan. Was it this one, guy?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you want to make a speech or?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you can make a speech.
Hi everyone.
Wait, let's zoom him in. There we go.
Hi. Sorry, I was not expecting this. Well, I'll introduce myself quickly. My name is Leo. My Instagram handle is fizz.archive, which I don't know if anyone knows. I'm very new to this field, but I'm very honored and very humbled to be here tonight in this fabulous community. And if could I have a few more moments?
Yes.
I like to
If you
thank.
stand back so they can see your
Yes.
your beautiful face. Don't
Thank you. Oh, you're very tall, sorry. I'd like to thank my fashion drawing teacher. I'm from Parsons, actually. Neil Jokes, who introduced me to the discipline of fashion illustration. And I also like to thank Richard Haynes, who introduced me to Fida. I happened to be in London for a semester abroad at Central St. Martin's, and this opportunity came in for me, and it's really great to be here. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. These guys go. Thank you, Richard. Mr. Haynes, he's everywhere. So the next is the Still Life Award. We need a drum roll. So I think this came down to the last two votes, and they're both members. I think they're both here. I'm not going to look. Don't know who I'm looking at, but it came down to the last two, and still life is a hard one. People don't realize that still life is an option to illustrate for, and there's lots of work around still life, and I really love the idea of still life. So I really wanted to get this involved and get it as a question or a way of answering a space. So the winner of the Still Life Award, the reason because I know they're here, is Caroline Ritchie's. You keep that. And are you going to say something?
I'm quite speechless for once.
Let me put this.
So, oh,
Well done, Caroline.
thank you. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Caroline.
On the mic.
Yeah.
And look, get in the camera.
Hi. I teach fashion design and have done for 20 years. I'm shaking a bit. At Leeds Arts University, and this means an incredible amount to me. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Fida, for everything you do. Thank you, everybody. I've been drawing a really long time. I've been teaching a long time. And this piece is a little bit of a story. I did it to celebrate my 20th year in teaching. So it's a toile by Ray Kawakubo, my favourite designer when I was a student, which was, I graduated in '96. So a long time ago, and it was quite a quick piece. I did it and it started to go dark, and I thought, you know what, I'll leave it. And I looked at it again in the morning and I just thought, no, that's it. I'll leave it as a toile is, always unfinished. I think that's what a little quote that I put underneath. But it's such an honour to actually win something. The last time I won something was a Blue Peter bag, if anybody remembers. So yeah, this means a massive amount. So thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Hey guys, put that in there. Okay. We nearly had tears. That was good. Okay, so for the next award. Yes. So we love to be controversial. So for the Student Still Life Award, the feedback was they didn't feel we should give an award. Was the actual, so we tapped into Connie's crits. We're not being evil. They just deserved accommodation. So rather than an award, so we're trying, I don't know, this was the feedback from the judges. It shows judges. And I guess the students are still in them spaces where they maybe had to learn or change, or the feedback that they were giving was, we just feel there's a few more areas that they could tone the work or understand it more. So they said as a collective that it was more under the idea of accommodation. So just tap in here. This goes to, next slide, went to Ellen Baker. So I think she's in SDAD as well, another. So well done, Ellen, if you're on the chat on Zoom. So I think it's quite a nice abstract piece, but that's the feedback we got. So our next award was the Multidisciplinary Award. Now, again, this is an area that I feel that will happen more, and people will be more seeing. There's lots more work in this space, and I feel that the artists could disrupt this space more as illustrators, and I'm seeing more animations and more filmmaking. I don't think there's enough of it, but I do feel that this could be the beginning of it, or maybe open or unearth an area. And I remember, like, when Jessica did her award piece for the documentary awards, I always thought documentary, I just finished my MA, and they were documentary, and I was like, right, documentary for illustration, it's a no-brainer. So it was a great sort of one to do, and you know, I know Jess captured so well. But the multidisciplinary, I feel, will be an area that will grow, and hopefully people will push more. So the winner for this award was, next slide, Ludovine Josephine. And there was a great animation, but I'm frightened to play it because we might crash. So, but we'll post it online, and it was a sort of, it reminds me of film noir, has a beautiful tone to it, and I feel this was a real great piece that shows the potential of filmmaking through illustration, and that's a rare thing. So well done, Ludovine, well done. So our next award was for multidisciplinary for student. Hopefully I get this name correct. That's it. The tension built up there. Next slide. So Kayleen Curdies. We've had a few embroidery pieces submitted, and they tended to not do very well. And they always went out really early. And it was great to see that people still are doing textiles pieces. Whether it was nice that it wasn't a digital piece, even though Ludovine was much more sort of digital. This piece I thought was great. And how could you take this further? I'd be really interested to see. How could she work with it? Where could it go? And that's what really sort of interests me, in where does this space grow, and how could it go into new arenas through embroidery or image making, because illustrators have all these abilities, and I think that's one of the most important parts to it. Okay, so this is the big part. So hopefully, yeah. So if you go to the next slide. So I was Rebecca Arnold, who has Documenting Fashion, if I'm correct. She has an Instagram page, and I saw this posted up when I was a student. Hiroshi was a big illustrator that I admired, and you know, he's got like a small amount of followers on Instagram, and I know everything's Instagram crazy, but it was, you know, I had a conversation with him only from her posting it that she reminded me, and I was like, you must be a judge. And he was like, I don't speak English, I can't do it. And I said, it doesn't matter, just look at the pictures. So if anybody hasn't heard of him or seen his work, please, this man should be back on the radar, and I'm shocked. So, you know, I just wanted to point out some of the illustrators or some of the judges that we had in. And, you know, David Downton and Connie Gray. If you don't know Connie Gray's sort of leading the space for fashion master illustrators. I know some of you go to the events and you go to you know, they had Bill Donovan recently. So Connie Gray was great, and she gave some great feedback. This was some of the, and I tried to ask people, what's your feelings towards what we do, whether it's good or bad. You know, we're not perfect. We're not saying we're perfect. So Connie wrote some little words, and, you know, David talking about illustration as a practice as a whole. So it was nice to hear from David Downton, and some other little feedback. Connie's here. Next slide, please. So we've got Connie and Joanna here, and Pete of Paris, who I don't know if anyone has seen my talk with Pete of Paris. Harriet loves Pete of Paris, but first I thought his name is Pete, but it's Pete, and he is all his work, all his receipts, and his whole life is collected by the Dutch government. So they're making a big movement to not allowing art or artists or creatives to go missed, or, you know, the Van Goghs of the world. So he explained this all to me, and I was like, wow, you know, fascinated by his journey. And he was explaining to me, you know, the trials and tribulations of illustrating and working with Victor and Rolf and these different, but he, you know, he was a great character. And when we had our Zoom meeting, he was on Teams and I was on Zoom, even though I'd sent him a Zoom link. So it was quite interesting to have that 1 hour delay of trying to find him. But we had a talk, and then he spoke for another hour, which was fascinating. So these are just some of the feedbacks from some of the different ambassadors and illustrators. You know, we've got Joanna is here as well. Always, you know, as I always say, when I first met Joanna, it was an interesting experience, and she's grown on to be an amazing illustrator even more. So before we say Merry Christmas and well done, we've just got our overall award for the Fida Awards. And the overall winner for the Fida Awards this year, I do need a drum roll on Zoom, is Hannah Tischler. I'll zoom back a bit. The portrait. I don't think we can go back. It's on my screen, the charcoal drawing. But yeah, so that sort of image, I think it was the most poignant, and it breaks into both spaces between fine art, illustration, drawing, and portraiture. And I feel it was a really great piece that captured the essence of today. So congratulations, Hannah. Again, it will be in the post. I know some people, and the funny thing is, I don't know, when we did our first awards, we sent stuff in beautiful packaging and people stole them and threatened that we'd had to give them money to get our tickets back. So I don't know if you remember the tickets, but it was an interesting experience. Don't send anything in too nice a packaging. Put it in another box, like a God knows what, a little box, but people collect that now. So thank you, everybody. It's great that we had a few winners here tonight, that we are here not just virtually. Have a great night. I think we have a good 50 minutes of drink everything, because we don't want to cab it home. Have as much fun as you can in the next 50 minutes. We have to be out of here by 9, as it's a school night. But there's London, and you can enjoy it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.